Hey, IDS 302 Summer Session B. It's July 5th, and I am in the garage at my mother's house because it's too hot out here. But I got to show you what a nice view I have. It's my niece's Jeep with a giant husky in there. You can see him. And then there's my girl over there, my Ruby. So I have a better view than you do right now with the inside of a garage. But it's apparently 96 in the sun here in suburban Milwaukee. Sorry, this is just ridiculous. I know I'm trying to get my exposure right. Okay, so the good news is I'm out of the sun. The bad news is I can do a longer video now that I can stand it actually. Okay, so this is the welcome to module one. Again, I was experimenting here because there's 5 steps to Tanner. I felt matching the step to the module was easier, and then calling that first module an intro module would work. I don't know. I don't want to cause confusion, but this is module one now. We've got 5 modules, 5 steps, 5 main papers. Okay, so let's roll in that regarding that. My niece has her Jeep running because the air conditioning for the dog, and she's inside with her grandmother and other family and stuff. But I don't want to get into all that. Um, hopefully this noise canceling works well. Okay, so let's get through some housekeeping issues. Like I said, my name is spelled Feyrer. I should have changed it when I was younger. I didn't. So I'm stuck with it and double check it. It's not Fryer, Freyer, Fryer, Feyer. It's Feyrer. I know that just really sucks, but um, you know, give it a whirl. Some of us have tough names, right? Okay. I just want you to know. Boy, I read some weird notes. Okay, so I got my evaluations from summer session A. It wasn't many; it was only 11. I only had 18 students, but they did the same class, 98%, I guess. Had a complaint about too much work. Uh, I would just say again, this is a 15-week upper level university course, 3 credit course, that is typically meant for 120 hours of rigor minimum, usually up to 135, but you can look it up. 3 credit course to do about 120 hours over 15 weeks. You kick that down to 6 weeks, you still got the 120 hours of work. That's 20 hours a week. And again, like I said, I know in real life, you're probably not going to give it 20 hours a week. It'd be great if you did, but I understand how we work and how we do things. We're trying to get a lot done in a short period of time, and it's going to require extra effort. So expect it to be hard. It is. It's going to be, but you'll be able to do it. I guarantee it. I've seen too many students do it to know that however you're coming to this, you'll do it. Okay, if you want it, right? All right. So, I wanted to also say about, I try to be gregarious, approachable. I think I am. I don't try to be. You guys can set up a call. You can email me. I should get back to you quickly. I understand in a 6-week course, especially, it's not the time to be like dragging my butt and thinking, oh, I'm the instructor. I'm just going to answer you whenever. No, 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 no. I feel an obligation to get back to you as soon as I can. So, but, and so I want to be gregarious, friendly, professional. Um, but some people say I'm a tough grader, but I'm trying to give you a heads up so that when I'm serious about things. Okay, just because I might be, hey, a fun guy or whatever, I'm not. But what if I was? Someone might think, well, I can just cruise through this. No, you can't. Okay. Regarding late penalties and such, if you're late, I will assess the penalty. That does not include really the videos. 5 points for video is actually nothing. I'd rather have you watch the videos. Don't worry about missing a video. Watch it, send me Easter eggs. I'll give you the points. Okay, it could be late. Okay, I want you to stay on course. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first couple of videos, but George Carlin once said that time was Mother Nature's way of keeping everything from happening at once, and that's kind of what I, go by. That maybe not exactly, but uh, so the sequence, the chronological order of the assignments are there for a reason. They're there to show you what to do when, okay? The order of them, all right? Sometimes I'll say I'm going to get a video out a particular day and something happens, screw it up and then get it out. Don't worry about being, um, held to a standard that's impossible to keep. We'll be fine. Okay. Email me questions or anytime. So, okay. Let's go on with, okay. I'm going to, oh, as far as the videos go, if you don't watch the videos, you're going to miss some things. I can't put everything in there and you're going to miss some things. All right. You're watching the video now, so you're not going to miss anything. Right. But I just want you to know, and I'll put that in the announcement because I want people to make sure we've been getting a great response. I've been getting a great response on people watching them, and I appreciate that. Okay. I think it helps us to be connected, even though it's kind of one sided, but it lets you know that you can reconnect this way too. Okay. Um, Double check always look at your own points, okay? To make sure when you send me points for Easter eggs or something that I actually apply them. Sometimes something slips past the goalie. Um, just make sure I get it. And I mean, if it's not there that same day, typically that means something happened and I missed it. So let me know, okay? Also look at, I don't know how you look at your overall grade for this course, but it's based on point total at the end of the course. So don't be like misled by percentages or showing a final grade now of A and you might have 15 points. Well, there's already been, X amount of points for module one, so you really don't have an A. If it ended today, you'd miss some things. You know the drill. You're adults. 700 points, as this syllabus quiz. 700 points is a C, 800 points is a B, 900 points goes to A. Okay, pretty simple, but just make sure you're aware of that so you don't get lulled into thinking that you've already got it made. Okay, so let's see. If you got any quiz answers wrong in the syllabus quiz, make sure you know what they are, what the right ones answers are, so that you can make sure going forward you don't get blindsided by something that you kind of missed in there. Let's see what else. I think that's about it for introductory stuff. Easter egg number one is final grade is based on total points. Final grade is based on total points. Okay, so let's look at some of the other little things I want to talk about in terms of the classwork and stuff. Concentrations are what? They're capitalized, okay? Disciplines are capitalized. I let it slide in that introductory discussion because many of you don't know that yet, and that's not even letting you slide. It's letting you do what you think is you do. That's fine. But right now, I want you to step up your game. And when you talk about business, communication, chemistry, biology, anything, I want you to capitalize that when you're talking about your discipline, okay? It's important to understand it, to give that discipline the pronoun status that it deserves. I'm sorry, proper noun status that it deserves, okay? And just remember that because I will hold you to it, okay? Disciplines are capitalized. It takes discipline to capitalize your disciplines, but you got it, all right? Okay. Honestly, too, I don't want to confuse people, but just know you do not have to give me a cover page for anything until the very last paper. No cover page till anything till the last paper. Then you have to do a cover page in the table of contents. So just don't worry about that. No cover pages. Don't need anything. Don't need fancy graphics. It doesn't have to do anything. I don't need any abstracts on anything ever. No abstracts, okay? That's not an abstract statement. I don't need any abstract, okay? If I do have word counts in an assignment somewhere and instructions, I will check. Overall, it's trying to drive you to get into some depth in whatever the assignment is or this discussion is. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I touched on the video on the evaluations. They said my video due date was weird, but again, I don't really watch those. I just send me them. I give you 5 points. Too much work. Again, it's a rigorous 15-week course done in 6 weeks. Okay. So, and there's always a little segment, and I get it. We all done it. It's not a generational thing or anything, but it's kind of like this. If you just tell me what to do, I can do it. It's a difficult proposition there because sometimes it means if you show me what to do or tell me what to do, then I can do it, but then you wouldn't be doing it. The person showing you or telling you would be doing it. So it's a tough little thing where I understand there's a point where I do the instruction and the directions, and then boom, the rest is up to you. Okay? You can ask me questions, but I'm not going to go through and tell you where to find what is a good source for climatology. I have no idea. Okay, I could guess, but that's not my, area of academia. All right, let's talk about Easter egg number two already. Yeah, why not? Throw it at you. Capitalize the disciplines. Capitalize the disciplines. Easter egg number two. I'm going to post on this announcement a survey that I saw online, um, done by a Dr. Sarah Daly, a criminology assistant professor up on the East Coast, I think. It's a great survey because a lot of the students, well, you're going to be doing a survey in this course. It's going to be very rudimentary for reasons that we'll discuss. But she got into the COVID, the BLM protests, the economy, a lot of things in this one survey to connect them, to integrate them. It's fascinating. I took the survey. I'm going to post it. I tweeted with her, and she tweeted back to me and stuff. And it's really cool. I really like it. Feel free to take it, I guess. But go through it, you'll see, because a survey is a way to gather original data. And that's how you make a difference in the research, is by you pulling in original data and not just using other people's data. Because I'll let the cat out of the bag right now. In research, there's essentially two ways to do research. And one is but research is always adding something new to the body of knowledge in that field, however incremental. It's always adding something new. So you can't just take stuff that's out there and throw it in a report and think that's research, because it didn't add anything new. So the two different ways, as I see it, is one is you can take existing data for whatever issue, problem, topic you have, existing data that was mined by another researchers, and then you can discover something new from that, and then that would be research. Or you can gather your own data, and that's your own original data, and you can create something new that way. We're going to work on the latter, because the former is too much of a responsibility. I don't expect undergraduate students to discover something new out of existing research data. That's just too big of an ask, especially in a 6-week course. So let's just stick with the original data and gathering that at some point. We'll talk about that as we move forward, okay? So looking at that survey, I'll give you some idea how these things are done. Quantitative survey, meaning that everybody has the same choice of the answers. Qualitative means you're asking open-ended questions, okay? And then you have to do a lot more work. So I'm going to emphasize right now that your surveys are going to be quantitative, and we'll get into that, all right? All right, Module 2, the learning materials. We got a reading by Leedy, 7-page reading. This was originally the textbook we used up until spring for this course, which was way too general research and not enough interdisciplinary and integrative. So I got away from it, but I love this first little blurb, 7 pages, because it really explains to you what research is and what research is not. And that's what we've been trying to talk about here too, is to take you to a new level of knowledge consuming and to understand what research is and what research is not. Leedy is a great source for that. Then there's a link for Alan Repko, one of the big names in interdisciplinary studies. He talks about IDS writing, and this is albeit from a master's program page, but it'll give you a quick little insight on interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary writing. And I think anytime you get that additional information, you'll be all set to move forward in your thinking. Okay. All right. The Jeep is leaving, so maybe we'll get quieter here. Hopefully. All right. So then we've got Tanner. Now, I do notice, I think I gave you Tanner through Tanner chapter 3 in by Jeep. Okay. So now, okay. So Tanner chapter 3, I put it in the first intro module, didn't I, for you to read. So I guess you're going to read it again, or if you didn't get to it, get a chance to look at it, because I had it in after this module. Theories of interdisciplinarity and integrative learning. Then you've got Tanner chapter 4, critical thinking and epistemology. And you've got Tanner chapter 5, integrative learning. So I did take a look at chapter 3 when we talked last, but I'll take a look at chapter 4 real quick, see if there's any points I really want you to understand. Well, of course, we get into critical thinking. Low battery now, too. My God, what's going on here? All right, critical thinking talks a lot about that. So important. This is so important because how much I think of interdisciplinary thinking, integrative thinking as critical thinking, right? So take a look at that and read that. Take a look at the disciplinary boxes. Take a look at the ways you see things. It's kind of like, what do you see besides a bleached out paper because of the thing? But, right, you look at that picture, you say, what do you see? Do you see the old lady or do you see the young woman looking away? That's how we talk about interdisciplinary studies in terms of looking at things, people seeing academics, scholars, people seeing the same thing two different ways. This is a visual imagery of how that's done, and read that. It's important. I'm gonna post the link to the gecko. I think it's a great video. The gecko and the cup thing that's linked to that too. The other thing I'll thought that was in here. Maybe it's somewhere else. But the mighty mug, yeah, and the gecko. If you want to learn about what interdisciplinary can do and integrative thinking, you can look at that video. It's fabulous. Okay. We're looking at worldviews and that. Okay, chapter 5, we're talking about creating your own integrative experiences. This is really important because, again, it is intentional. That you have to be intentional to get where you want to be through this field especially. You don't just sit back and wait for ESPN to knock on your door. Say, we need a sportscaster. Okay, talk about integrative learners as lifelong learners. We have a number of more adult students in this course too, that are taking these challenges on later in life than you would normally do it sequentially from high school, which is fine both ways, of course, whatever works for us. But certainly when you come to a program like this or field like this and you bring a lifetime of experience, typically in many different areas, you are actually ahead of the game in terms of applying some of these concepts. And I think you've made a good choice here. So there's a lot of good things in here about being an integrative learner, a lifelong learner. Okay, that's chapters 3, 4, and 5. So let's keep moving on here. Then there's a page on the IRB ethics. I want you to read that. IRB is Institutional Review Board. Universities have these. What they do is, if you're planning to do research, you have to go to them and get it approved. If you're doing it under certain conditions with certain demographics or participants. We're not going to do that. So we are not going to have to go to the IRB, but it's very important to know what some of these steps are as a consumer of knowledge, that at a university level, you have to get things approved. You can't just go out there and start, excuse me, I'm going to yawn. It's not a COVID yawn. You can't just go out and do research on abuse of victims or domestic violence of victims, things like that. Those are sensitive subjects. Same with any minors. You can't do the research on that without approval from your university board so that they can assure that there's protective measures taken for the vulnerable demographic, okay? So we have to stay away from those things in this course, all right? And that's why I want you to read about the IRB ethics, all right? And let's see, next up, okay, the assignments due on July 8th, your research topic, okay? This is what I want you to pick. Now, if you have something else in mind, just let me know, okay? I'm not restricting anybody here. Remember, the obstacles in this course are, number 1, it's only 6 weeks long. Number 2, it's interdisciplinary, so everybody's got a different thing. And number 3, it's undergraduate, where people don't have a lot of experience doing research. So I'm willing to listen to what you got. I want you to be able to work in terms of your passions. And there's probably not going to be a topic I haven't seen yet. And man, wow me with a new one. So let's do this. Anything you want, but just look at the topic suggestions that I made. All right. They're broad topics, broad subjects. So we're going to be bringing it down. But I want you to get a sense of where you're going with a broad topic, but we're going to be bringing it down because you can't just do a research on climatology. It's impossible. You have no parameters there. What are you going to do? You can't even do the effects of climate change on Phoenix because what are you going to do? What are you going to measure? What's going on with that? So it's a challenge, right? And let's see, here's my nephew. There he is. Wow, what a dog. Anyways, okay. Sorry, I hate the exposure on this thing. Okay, so what we're going to lead this into, though, later on is a survey. And that survey is going to center around what are some of the opinions, perceptions, and experiences regarding, you're going to fill in the blank, revealed in a survey of random adults. What are some of the opinions, perceptions, and experiences regarding blank revealed in a survey of random adults. That's how you get your original data. We will talk a lot more about that. Don't sweat it right now. Don't just have in the back of your mind. That's where we're going. We're going to look at, if you want to look at that whole paper sample I posted, like I said, we're going to look at your topic. We're going to look at some of the interdisciplinary justifications for that topic. Okay. We're going to think about some interdisciplinary questions we could ask about that topic, not to anybody specific, but to ourselves as researchers. What kind of questions? Rhetorical, whatsoever. Okay. So separate that from that survey I'm talking about. This is nothing like it. Okay. And then we're going to get into digging into primary research. But I want you to then to start thinking about what specifically about your topic is something you're going to go after, as it might relate more to random adults, not random students from ASU, not random women under 30, okay, random adults. Why? Because in this course, we don't have time to be slicing and dicing data. We go to random adults. That way, you get me, 62-year-old male, you get fellow students, you get people in the class, you get all kinds of people, and then boom, then you split them up, okay? Okay, so let's because if you wanted to do a survey on, let's say you're interested in topics feminism or something like that, feminist action and things, and you just can't just ask women under 30 because you have nothing to compare it against then. So it's going to take a lot more work. So you throw it out there for everybody, and now you got all kinds of things to compare. In this course, this is crawling research. If you were to say, you're born as a researcher, you're going to crawl first, then you're going to walk or waddle. Then you're gonna walk. You're gonna walk fast. You're gonna skip. You're gonna jog. You're gonna run. You're gonna sprint. Okay, that's the arc of research. You're not gonna if I was teaching how to drive, I wouldn't say let's get on the interstate right now. You learn how to start. Wow, man, let me start the car. Let me work driving a parking lot somewhere so I can hit some stuff maybe, but whatever. But you don't just jump on the highway, right? So this type of research is crawling research. So I don't want you to get intimidated by that, all right? Because I know who you are, because I'm that too. So secret's out, all right? Okay, so that's an important thing to get to for the 8th. July 11th, we got a quiz due. It's going to be, I think it's 50 or 60 questions. Half of it's multiple choice, half of it's true or false. You got this, seriously, okay? If you read the book, textbook, you got it. It's like you got like 30 minutes to do it, whatever. You got it. All right, then on the 12th, next Sunday, you have to turn in your step 1, okay? Tanner step 1. There is samples in that assignment thing. Look at the sample. If you can't find it, let me know, but it's in the submission page for this assignment, step 1. There's a sample step 1 paper. Look at it. That's fabulous. That's the way it should look. It's not perfect, but it's great. And this is what I'm shooting for here. This is what you're shooting for in your own words, your own topic, right? But then you can take a look at the sample of the final paper. Now you'll get some idea of the context of what we're getting into, but understanding that it's one step at a time for the next 5 weeks. All right, so we're going to be doing, where'd I go? Okay, here we go. So you want to look at the samples, right? Now, again, ask me questions. Don't drop the course because you think it's too hard. If there's other reasons, I understand. You got to go. But I think it's rewarding. I think it's a paper you'll keep. In terms of the formatting, I'll put a checklist up there in that paper to make sure you don't make the silly mistakes avoiding things like double line spacing, Times New Roman, 12-point font. Use paragraph indents, not line gaps. Everything that you cite needs to be cited APA. There need to be citations, APA citations. Whatever appears in the text needs to be cited in your works cited list. The works cited list needs to be in hanging paragraph form. If you don't know what hanging paragraph form is, don't assume you do. Check it out. You'll see it on the sample. Hanging paragraph with no spaces between entries, alphabetized, last name, APA style. Again, scholarly writing is disciplined writing. It's different from us texting and emailing and et cetera, okay? So I know I probably talked really fast as usual here, but I really wanted to get a lot in here in this 25 minutes I gave myself here, it looks like. So I got 5% of a battery left. That can't be a good sign. You guys, okay, Easter egg number 3, follow the samples. Follow the samples. All right, so again, contact me if you have questions. It's a tough course, it's a tight course, it's a quick course. But if you spin your wheels, you're going to be wasting time. If you wanted to work and then find out spinning your wheels, shoot me an email. Chances are I'll get it almost instantly. Okay. All right. Set up a call or something. All right. So forks up. You know the drill, right? Peace.